Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering help with writing a book. There are so many different forms of book help that you can pursue. Let me help you choose the best option for you to make sure that you finish your book. By the end of this video, you will learn the value of writing courses, book coaching support, and ghostwriting. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. Book support and book help can come in so many different forms. It's a reflection of your skill set, your gaps, and also a reflection of your budget and your goals. So before you go down this road, you really need to think about what you can do on your own, what you want to do on your own, and where you need the most amount of help. There's so many different opportunities that can emerge from choosing the collaborators or choosing the form of support that you get. If you choose incorrectly and you choose the wrong type of support, it's going to feel for you like the walls are closing in. You're not going to be empowered. You're going to be discouraged. You don't want to be discouraged. You want to be encouraged. You want to be enthusiastic about the kind of support you're getting. So it's so valuable to understand what you're bringing to the table, where you need the most amount of help, and how that help can get you across the finish line. Let's talk about writing courses first. Writing courses are an interesting journey, an interesting process. Writing courses can be a great opportunity if you are somebody who understands writing, who has a good idea of what they're doing, self-guided, but you're somebody who just needs that little bit of community, that little bit of support, that little bit of accountability to be able to say you're making progress every week, to go into every meeting saying that you're building momentum with your book and learning new things. Maybe there's a little bit of knowledge gap that you want to learn more about in terms of your book. Maybe it's a new type of book that you haven't written before. You've written other books, but this is a new space for you, so it's great to have a course. I actually launched the Writing Accountability course. It's available at goodbookmastery.com. And it was so special to launch it and to help bring it forward and to build this community for other authors and to see where they're at in their space. My friend Margaret's in the course and she's been showing up week after week, and it's great to be able to build that momentum and have that continuity, to know that every Thursday we're going to meet, we're going to talk about books, we're going to talk about book hook, book audience, book outline, book foundation, book purpose, finding the path forward for the writing process. And there's just that level of just showing up every week, knowing that you're showing up for yourself. I think it's great to be able to have that accountability each week, because you're accountable to yourself, but you're accountable to the others in the group too. It's something that a friend of mine, Ebony, she's so good at. She launches all these different courses, and I've been in a couple of her courses, and I've built so much momentum with the offerings that I'm putting together, not just books, but websites and other things. And it's just so special to be able to see yourself in this group of like-minded people in the similar space and all facing similar problems, even if they're a little bit different. So writing courses can be a great option for you. So that's definitely one that you want to consider when you're thinking about getting help and support with writing your book. The next form of help that I want you to think about is writing coach. Writing coach is a guide. It's somebody who's meeting with you regularly, giving you insight and guidance, and helping you do the writing yourself. This is somebody who has success with book writing, has guided other projects forward, and really is just interested in helping you provide that little bit of finish. The best authors to work with writing coaches are people who do good writing on their own. They just need that little bit of guidance, that little bit of support. Maybe you are somebody who has written blog posts, maybe you write for work, and you haven't written a book before. Writing coach can be great for you. It provides guardrails, guidance, support, all those sorts of things on a more direct level than a writing course will, which is more self-guided. Writing coaching support is guided by the coach. A coach is leading the way, is preparing you for what's ahead, is helping you write the best book possible. So writing coaching is another great option. The next form of help with your book is a book ghostwriter. And this is the most intensive of those three options. Ghostwriting is such a special experience. I've ghostwritten about 30 books at this point, and it's been transformative for me. I've learned so many things. It's like a lifelong education to be able to work as a book ghostwriter, because you're constantly learning new things. And it's just so special to see the transformation in the people I work with, the authors I work with, seeing them take this journey from the beginning of working together to after the book is published. And it's transformation. Their life is different because of this book and because of them unlocking their message, unlocking their story in a new way. I love that. I love that process of being able to explore somebody's story. It can be such a transformative process when I'm working with an author to see the journey that they're taking in their personal growth, to see them unlocking the power within themselves, to see them figuring out their story in a new way and being emboldened and empowered to share their story, to own their story in a way that they haven't before. I think that's the best thing about working as a ghostwriter and helping people share their stories. A lot of the stories I tell are straightforward business projects, but a lot of them also tell a deeper story. They go explore something about the human spirit, and it's great to be able to unlock the power of the stories in the authors I work with. It's just the coolest thing, and to see the lift, to see how they are afterwards, that they're not the same person after working together. And I'm not either. Their books transform me as well, and it's such an awesome experience, and what's great about too is the authors I work with as a ghostwriter come in at so many different vantage points. Some of them are very good writers who don't have the time to write a book. Some of them are successful authors who are writing in a different field than they were otherwise. Sometimes they're successful authors who are writing about a different topic than they usually are. Sometimes the book is too big for one person. I've been working on a project about a serial killer at a hospital, and that book was not going to be able to be finished by one person. It just wasn't. And it was so special to be able to collaborate on that project and help, round it out. But the people I work with, it's really about getting out of it what you put into it. Sometimes people are very vulnerable and sometimes people are very open and they want that help. And then other times they don't. Other times they're resistant. Other times, they do a lot of writing themselves. So it's interesting. It's an interesting balance. It's exciting for me to meet people where they are and to help them where they need support. But a lot of times it falls to me to be a problem solver and say, okay, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, I can do this. Here's what you need. A lot of times with help and getting support for your book, it comes down to budget, it comes down to skill set, and it comes down to goals. If you're somebody who has a lot of writing talent and you just need a little bit of guidance, you could be drawn to working with a coach, you could be drawn to signing up for a course. If you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of time, ghostwriting is probably the best option. So it's really about that, and then on the flip side of that, ghostwriting, because the most intensive, is the most expensive of those options. Whereas a course might be inexpensive, writing coaching is kind of an intermediate step. So it's a range of all these different things, but it's about really figuring out what you need, what your budget is, and how that person or that resource can help guide you forward. If you want to learn more about help with writing a book, I definitely want you to check out my Good Book Accountability course. It has been so special for me to meet with authors, to meet weekly. We just have these check-in sessions and learn new things and challenge each other. And it's just an awesome experience. If you're interested in checking that out, head to my website. It's goodbookmastery.com. You can click the link below and learn more about the course. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.